cry. It was weird.
But it's always fun to see with an audience, too, especially. And interestingly enough, when there are less aunties, sometimes it's a different feeling when there are a lot of aunties. So this is kind of a half and half at this point. But well, thank you all for coming. Yeah, I mean, for me, it's really great to see the movie here and to be able to share it with so many local folks as well.
Oh, okay. So are we?
I'm just sort of this is the reflective moment as they put together their questions. But yeah, it is in this weird way. Like it felt so never ending, the pandemic, and I can't believe we're finally at the place where we're like, oh, it's a documentary. No, look at it in film, and but also sort of reflecting on how we've learned absolutely if we were to collectively share our heart and brain with a lot of Americans who can't even remember this happened.
Yeah. I mean, I think for me, it's I was saying before that when we were making this film, it took about 5 years. So during the Biden administration, it was very difficult to figure out how to end the movie, right? And sadly, once that second election came around for Trump, then all of a sudden, it's like it really snapped into focus. It's like, oh my God, we have to show that we did something during the pandemic and we pushed back against, the governmental failures, and we worked as a group together, and that we can still do that. We can all resist. And the title of the film was a different title until recently. So
what was the previous title?
I think it was called "We Go Down Sewing."
Yeah. And that came. I remember it was when we were just watching uprisings happening because of George Floyd, and we're just like, I don't know what else to do, but just so for the people who are brave enough to protest. And it was a constant thing where I think I would say, aunties, if this is the end, we go down sewing, right? Like it was a little bit of an L. Ron Hubbard cult mentality at the time, but it really just felt like this is it.
We're not a cult.
We're not a cult.
And can I say a few words? By the way, I'm Grace Yu. I'm in the film. I'm over at San Francisco State University. I just want to say that I have to say, Professor Valerie So teaches you to sew, by the way, like SOE, but she teaches you to sew. But I also wanted to say she's incredibly humble. This is an amazing film, and I have to say during the pandemic, our dogs were best friends, and so we were walking every day outside. I don't know if any of you were walking outside during the pandemic, but that's what we did. And she said, we're going to make a film about this. We're going to make a film about the anti-sewing squad. And I was like, really? We're going to make a film? Okay. And so she was amazing in terms of chronicling and documenting everything that we were experiencing. And all of this was on Facebook. This is the amazing thing. Like all of this videos, like you were on Facebook doing sort of like your memoir. Like you come on and be like, this is what I'm experiencing. Yeah. And so I just think it was so amazing through Facebook and through just an intentional, way of sort of like, we're going to document this. And so,
Which leads into this great first question, describe the logistics of gathering and distributing masks. So, obviously it's not the way things are distributed now where you go on Amazon, you click a link and something shows up at your door. We were in a moment where no one was wearing masks. There was everyone was learning to sew a mask around the same time. There were no materials. Joann's was closed. A lot of fabric stores were closed. Elastic was at a premium. And so we were very decentralized. It's not like everyone can go to the same factory and start sewing, and be close to each other. We're trying to figure out how to work a decentralized hub. I have this great graphic I made that a typical supply chain looks linear like this, but ours was like, throw masks over a fence to this organization that knows that it's coming to pick it up. Get fabric. Someone died in Riverside and posted her mother's fabric on Craigslist. We're going to pick it up on the way to the reservation, right? Like it was so think fast.
And I
how
think
we're going to do this.
A really big thing that was very difficult to get in March of 2020 was elastic.
Yeah.
You try to order it on Amazon and say we're out till May 2020, but Christina had the supply. She had the supply chain of elastic, and so
it was like these drug deal type things where I track down tailor shops and stuff that were closed and buy things in the street, like these cash drop-offs. And there's a scene in Sweatshop Overlord which is very akin to like getting crack and then pushing crack onto the auntie's crack being elastic. A lot of these logistics questions. So you have to remember in this pandemic, just because you saw an article that hospitals in Cleveland are out of masks, doesn't mean, oh, let's just start sewing for Cleveland. It's like, you've got to figure out who to send it to. And sometimes those needs get satisfied very quickly by other mask sewing groups. So we have to be really close in touch with people like us on the ground, like people willing to risk on the ground. We can't just start looking up addresses that nobody's checking because no one's working at an office. We have to get an exact number. Then someone would post in our Facebook group, what feels like a reasonable request. We would just make sure from those places that they had a plan to distribute it, that they weren't just talking to us out of panic, because a lot of people would be like, as much as you can send, but that meant 20, or that meant 13, or maybe they were asking 12 groups at once, and they'd suddenly be deluged, and we didn't want to make all these aunties like so late through the night for something that was already like a need that was already satisfied. So we almost had to kind of talk down these people panicking. And basically a super auntie would post in the group, like would coordinate these asks, I need 1,000, and people would pledge in the comments 20, 30, 40, get an address, risk going to the post office. Those who didn't, we had some aunties that would get picked up, that would pick up masks on their porch because they were just too scared to leave, and then they would basically get sent in spurts. And then the money we raised would go to reimburse for postage if aunties requested that.
We had some